Hello and what is up, ADHD gang? We are here with another video. Today's video I'm going to be telling you about sort of my process, kind of going through showing you the steps, pre-done already, but the steps that I take when preparing my next sketchbook cover, sketchbooks that I usually prefer, that I choose, and stuff like that. So let's get into it. So, step number one is figuring out what you're gonna do. So, obviously you're here because you either have a new sketchbook, or even if you just want to fill a page in your sketchbook, drawing ideas, this will kind of all help that. So, step one is the sketchbook, obviously. So, this is my new sketchbook. It's literally 120 sheets. The thickest boy I've ever seen compared to, like this. This is, like, pretty thin. So yeah, typically when I'm going for sketchbooks, depending on what type of artist you are, I know, who do I watch? I watch Slew. He personally has a separate sketchbook for like his oil painting, and then he has one just for sketching. And I know some people like that and do that, where they just have a sketchbook for sketching and then they don't entirely paint in their sketchbook and stuff like that. But for me personally, my sketchbook holds every type of media, so I like mixed media, and typically I go for a 9x12 sort 8.5 by 11 standard sheet of paper also works. And yeah, we're going to be showing you how to paint your sketchbook cover. So I will be doing a sketchbook tour sometime next month. This was my old sketchbook. As you can see, it was originally this blue color. I painted it and stuff like that, and I kind of prefer it mixed media, just so that I can do whatever. If I want to do watercolor, if I want to chuck some paints down and stuff like that. So the first step, essentially, in painting your sketchbook or doing a spread or something, or just drawing in general, is references. I have here Pinterest pulled up. This is my Pinterest, so if you would like to follow me, feel free to do that. I post a lot of my references and stuff like that. A lot of my bigger painting ideas are of things that I want in life. So this sketchbook cover here is going to be based on like what I want my house to kind of look like in the future, like the vibes I want it to give off. And my sketchbook cover, this one here, this is actually a kind of sort of tattoo that is in the works. So yeah, Pinterest, you can create boards, you can search things, you can also use Instagram as well. So this is my board that I have created for this sketchbook cover spread in my sketchbooks and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just to gather inspiration. My original inspiration is like this photo here. And there's a similar photo, or like the same exact photo, on Instagram. The Instagram is Cozy Cabin World. That's kind of where I like fell in love with this. And I was like, I love drawing houses. I was like, I want to make a house. I want to like draw what I'd kind of see my house being like and stuff like that. So that's what we're kind of aiming towards. So Pinterest just has everything. Like, there's drawings, there's physical houses, there's people showing you how to do different things, what certain trees look like. So that's the first step, is to gather. The second step, essentially, is to gather references. The first one is to pick out whatever sketchbook, or if you're doing a painting, or if you're doing a spread. The next step is to just draw it. So I've done that here. So in here you can, let's bring it over because we have some natural light. So I don't have my big overhead lights. That's also a new addition. I got a laptop stand, and I got like these big overhead lights for down here. So that's what I started doing. I started, you know, drawing it, didn't like the angle. It was okay. And then came upon this. Then I settled upon this, which was like one of my kind of finals. And then this was like technically kind of my final, but not exactly. I'll show you what my actual final looks like. And then I really didn't want to move on to my next sketchbook, which I eventually did anyways, because I wanted my next sketchbook to kind of just have the coloring phase. So I just tested out different shapes with different balconies and windows and sidings and just in all these fun colors, because I wanted the last page in my book not just to be black, white, gray, like graphite, charcoal, whatever. I wanted it to have a lot of color. That's another thing that I love doing with my sketchbooks is if you're in the process of drawing something, I always suggest, you can outline it in black, but I always suggest getting a few of your pens. You can just use standard like big ballpoint pens. You don't have to get anything fancy. And another thing too that I would do a lot when I was filling up spreads is I would gravitate towards highlighters. You could do a little bit of marker, a colored pencil. I always try to add, unless it's intentionally like I'm intentionally doing like a charcoal type thing. But if I'm having fun like drawing things, I like to add color. So obviously the next step after this, I kind of had a refined design, but I still wanted to play with it just a little. And yeah, so the third step, we moved into here. I always keep this page blank because this is my introduction page. This will show like, hello, welcome to sketchbook number, this is probably number 4-ish. I say ish because we aren't counting. And then I always keep the back just blank too of that page, just in case if something does bleed or if I can see it through a little bit. This paper is obviously, it does tend to bleed a bit, and I didn't know what medium I was going to be using, so I kind of kept that page open. And then if it does bleed through, I will sometimes, you can cover the page in another piece of paper. If you want to keep it fun, you could do sticky notes, different like craft paper, do something to cover it. Or if it's like a character you've drawn, I've seen some people like draw the reverse side of that and draw like the evil version on this side or whatever. So the next step was picking out colors. So I sketched out, I just got these new calligraphy pens. This is what they are. That's, ooh, that is what it's called. I got them off of Amazon. It was like $7 or $8, and yeah, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of them. So it wasn't a bad price. I've been using my Tombos for a while that are like Japanese fine liners and stuff like that, and they're kind of dead, and I wanted a bit more of a difference to like play around with stuff. So I did that. I also then decided to go into colors. So I pulled out my Ohuhu artist markers, my alcohol markers. I have my handy dandy little chart here, which is something I always suggest when you get markers and stuff, unless it's just a normal brand of markers, to swatch out your colors with the numbers, the name, whatever, just so that you can see it. And I always try to do it on a paper that I know I'm going to be mostly doing my art. So this is a watercolor paper specifically, but that's a lot of the times where I'll take finals if I don't want to take it to a canvas. So we did that, and then I also decided to add in some colored pencils. So I pulled out my box of colored pencils just to get a variety of texture, just to kind of show texture in my sketchbook. I also did pull out my Jelly Roll white pen that I have. I have 2 of them. Another thing to also add texture is an X-Acto knife. You can take craft paper, like I said, sticky notes, other things, and that can add like depth to a sketchbook as well. So yeah, then obviously I've been flashing it. I've been flashing my camera over here. Yeah, this is the next phase, planning it out. So this is what I started at, and it was okay. It needed a bit of work. Colors weren't exactly how I wanted them. There's still a bunch of flaws that I know that I'm gonna go and change in the final. So I wanted to kind of just play with colors, make sure that I had the exact shape I wanted and everything that I wanted. So then we went to this, because I don't want, it's gonna be an oval on my sketchbook, and this is gonna be painted white, and then the outside part of the sketchbook's gonna be black, obviously. And then I'm gonna write sketchbook whatever. I haven't planned that out. That's another thing I have to plan out, is the word sketchbook number 4, sketchbook 4, and then like what font I want that in, colors for that too. So that is another step that I have been waiting to do, because that's gonna be like the last thing I do is that. So then we come here to the final. I took out the stones, obviously. Everything's more over. I added the moon and like some stars. I tried to focus more on like a higher bit of a gradient, because this one was like lower. So I tried to make it a bit higher, make the glass color a little bit lighter. And then obviously I had in my head that like all these black outlines were gonna be this same green, and obviously when I do the final, all these lines are gonna be straight. So yeah, that's like the, yeah, first step, second step, kind of like third, fourth-ish step. So the last step is the final. We haven't gotten to that yet. It takes me a while before I do a lot of things, because going through college and getting assignments done and other things and card and stuff, prioritizing a lot of other things before this. So the next step for me, which will happen at some point today, hopefully, is I'm going to paint the outside black, figure out like the shape of the ovalish circle, how much I want at the top to show for the text, how far to the bottom do I want it. So getting those final details, painting that on, and then after that, then I can go in and take my design that I have here, and that'll get painted on. So the final will be up on my Instagram at some point. I'm not exactly sure when, possibly the end of this week, but I do have a lot going on this week that has to get done. So we'll wait and see, maybe next week. I'm hoping to get this video up on Wednesday. We'll see about that. I have articles to write and things to do. But yeah, that's kind of it for all of the steps. Like I said, next month, typically I try to go between art and fashion, but next month specifically, because I want to get it out of the way, we will be doing a sketchbook tour of this beautiful, lovely child here. And yeah, it is also okay if you don't paint your sketchbook covers. You don't have to paint your sketchbook covers, but I've started painting mine and writing the number, and like I'll write like the date. I actually we gotta end that off. When did I do this? 2/10/2022. So yeah, 2/10/22. And there we go. I started it like January 5th, and I ended February 10th. I don't usually set like a date. I usually try to finish my sketchbooks within a year's time. It just depends. I also try to have a schedule where at least like every other day I'm doing some form of art, or I'm at least drawing once a week, because the more you draw, obviously the better you're gonna get. So yeah, this was it. This is the video showing you how to prepare for painting your sketchbook, how to just fill out a page in your sketchbook. I always say bigger is better. So whenever you're drawing something, I always try to draw it as large as I can, so that I can get in more detail. There's more surface area to work with. There's more things to say. So yeah, that is it. If you would like to see another video from me, please like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell if you're feeling like it. I try to upload once a month. If it's not a holiday and like I'm really, really busy, usually towards the mid end of the month. And yeah, also make sure you follow my art Instagram, ADHD_artist_MM, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.